How's it going, guys? It's Brian from Let's Talk Beer, and I want to give you guys an inside look at the studio, see what's going on in there, maybe show you some beers in the beer fridge and in my scary-ass basement. Let's get in there. Now to start, we're going to talk about the heartbeat of the podcast, what makes the podcast run, and it wouldn't be a podcast without it, and that's my computer and the mixer. The computer is a custom-built online computer that pretty much handles anything from gaming to video processing to the podcast, and I couldn't do anything without it. And it's hooked up to a 40-inch TV and a 27-inch monitor. So I'm always able to see everything. And coming in hot with the mixer is a Behringer 5 port mixer. So I can have 5 mics at once. Everything feeds back into the computer and vice versa. And it's very portable. I can put some batteries in there and take it on the road with me if there's no power. And I've taken it on the road a couple of times that you may or may not have known, because the audio in my mind is first. It needs to be first in mind for me. I want to make sure the audio is as clean as possible, and it's not annoying as you're driving or listening to it as you're doing what you're doing. Moving on, we got this is what is the more portable version of that mixer is the H4n Pro. If I'm going out in the field and just want to have, if I'm just interviewing one person or two people, this is good enough for up to 3 people with separate mics. And it's got 2 inputs for XLRs, for microphones. It also has one on the back, so I can record 3 separate tracks of audio, and then bring it back to this thing and edit the audio to make it a podcast. Now I do a bunch of things in the studio. I podcast, I drum, as you can see over here. We'll get to that in a second. But I also game a lot too. And if you didn't catch from talking about the PC, I do have a set of foot pedals down there, and right down here is a steering wheel because I like to play driving games. So also I got a Nintendo Switch dock up here for when I don't want to bother anyone in the living room. I bring it up here and play. So it's just an Insignia Switch dock that I got there. On the back of it's pretty cool. It allows me to plug a PS4 controller into that dock to use a PS4 controller as a Switch controller. So it's pretty rad. And this is for the Xbox. This is a stereo thing. You can plug better headphones into your Xbox controller and make it work. And then I got as far as headphones, the Astro A40 mix amp right here with the A40 headphones. Definitely gamer headphones, but they also provide great audio quality coming back from the computer and the drum set. Did I say drum set? Let's get over to the drum set. Now the drum set, I've been a drummer for I don't know how many years, since 5th grade, and I've had this for a couple years. This is the Yamaha DT Explorer, and it's just a simple kit, and I just plug my iPad into it and or phone into it and just drum away on it. It also wouldn't be a podcasting studio without this thing. Boom, beer fridge. Let's check it out. Things cycle in and out, and yes, no one judge me at how awesome some of these beers are in the beer world, but small fridge, got it at Lowe's, and it holds a bunch of beers. I got some Greater Goods, I got some Julius, some Green, some Arc Point from Belchertown, some 46. My dad took a trip to Treehouse, so that's why it's all there. I got a bunch of Amherst Brewing Company beers in the back, like this Sugar Maple Nut Coffee Stout. Also got some lefties up there, showing up top. A Torn label from KC. I got a Boulevard back there. Boom. Tank 7. So that's the beer fridge I have up here. Holds enough beers up here for a good couple of podcasts, but yeah. A couple signs up here. Brews of Glory. There's a skating thing over in the Strawberry Bank in Portsmouth. So shout out to Charlie there for rocking it out on the Brews of Glory poster. And a lot of people have asked what these photos are, and this is Jason Mantzoukas, Lauren Lapkus, Paul F. Tompkins, and John Gabris. Kind of like the my podcast mentors. I listen to all their podcasts, whatever they do, and that's kind of what I like to base my humor around is just listening to those guys, and they're awesome. I also have my Qingdao, because I lived in, my parents lived in China for a while, and I visited Qingdao. It was rad. And then obviously Smutty Nose. Shout out to Smutty Nose. And then the table. The table is autographed by everyone who has been physically in the studio on the podcast. So we have everyone from we have Nick Evans, we have my friend, old friend of the show, Mike Meredith. I believe this is Ben Watts. He freaking signed it like a gypsy. We have Sean Jansen, and who was here for IPA Day? Who is that? Who is that? 8/3, August 3rd. I don't know. Whoever it is, I'm sorry I forgot you. But that's the studio pretty much. And how about this? So I love audio cables, and I collect as much as I can because you never know what kind of scenario you're going to be in and you're going to need what cable you're going to need. So I have every cable for pretty much any scenario possible in the entire world. And the second I don't, I look it up on Amazon. I need every cable possible. I got to be as flexible as possible, and then store the rest of the sugar in here because I got to make sure that wherever there needs to be a podcast, we can be there and rock it out.
And that's going to do it for my studio tour. I know I promised a trip into my dark, weird basement to look at the beers that I have down there, but we'll save that for another time. But until then, guys, thank you so much. Tell a friend to subscribe to the podcast at letstalk.beer. Until then, cheers.